sulfur cubes. What was looked at as a stupid mob at first is actually one of the coolest mobs ever. It has many purposes, but one of the big ones is that it can be used like a ball. This got me thinking, could you bring any sport into Minecraft? The only problem is sulfur cubes weren't designed for sports at all, making this task very hard to accomplish. Unlike hitting the subscribe button, which is quick and easy. I've chosen 5 sports I believe I can bring into Minecraft, and at the end of this video, I will show you my recreation of one of golf's most famous holes. But before we get to that, let's start with the most famous sport in the world, soccer. The first step in bringing soccer into the game is we have to build the field. So let's get started first of all with the perimeter. Then we can go to the center field and build a nice little circle right there. And finally, let's make the 2 goalie boxes on each of the sides. Oh, and we have to do the corners and the penalty marker. Finally, the most important part of the field are the goals. And what your goal should be is to follow the Twitch, because I'm live almost every day and you need a new streamer to watch. Okay, now that we got a good looking field out here, let's make it functional. This is where the sulfur cube comes into play. If you don't know how they work, then listen up. If a sulfur has wool inside, it goes almost straight up. Resin bricks means it goes very straight and almost flat. Wood planks are basically an in-between of both and travel the furthest distance. Finally, an ice block just slides around, and the more damage you do, the further each one goes. Now that we got that explained, we have to decide which version of the cube best fits this game. Your first thought is probably ice, because it's very easy to kick and pass around, but you really can't get any air on it for a cool goal, so that won't work. Next thought might be a wood sulfur, but it can get out of control very quickly. So the only real option left is the resin sulfur, because it has almost the perfect speed for passing and cool goal scoring. So now all that's left for soccer is to shrink the sulfur down to a smaller size with this command right here, making the game look just that much better. With the biggest sport in the world down, let's head to a smaller but still well-known sport, that being shuffleboard. If you don't know what shuffleboard is based off the name, I'll throw up a photo right now. You've probably seen it before. But if you haven't, basically what you do is slide a disc from one end to the other, trying to get more points than your opponent who is doing the same. This one actually took much longer than I thought it would, because my first design was, we'll be nice and say subpar. After seeing that, I think we can all agree that I needed to make a bigger board. First thing I did was just build the legs up. I like the simple, just black and gray design on here, nothing too crazy. Then I built up a thick wood border, adding a gray trim with a gap in between itself and the actual sliding board. For the part where I'm going to be sliding the sulfurs on, I put jungle planks just to make it look a little more glossy. And after that, I sectioned out the board with the scoring zone and halfway line. Also, I'll be the first to admit, I made the board either a little too small or the scoring zones are just too big. I don't know, you decide in the comments. With the board done, it took me a little while of trial and error, but I did end up finding the best sulfur possible. I settled on using concrete powder because it can be the classic blue and red colors of the disc, and because it makes the game more functional, even if you have to hit them up in the air to work. The next sport we'll be going over is the like button. But after that, we'll transition into another sport that involves sliding something on wood, that being bowling. This one actually took me the longest to make because I forgot that a bowling alley is indoors and covering a massive bowling lane takes longer than you would think. Also, ignore the chat and soccer field on your screen. It goes away soon, I promise. The first thing I started with was figuring out how wide the lane needed to be. I decided on a 5 wide lane, so unfortunately we're only gonna have 9 pins. I know, but I also don't care. Complain in the comments. I then added the gutters on the side and figured out a way to drop the pins down. The way I did that was with dispensers. And you might be thinking, what are dispensers gonna do? Well, you may have seen me using buckets to place sulfurs throughout this video. That's because whenever you scoop a sulfur in a bucket, it keeps its block and you can place it anywhere. Subsequently, by putting the bucket into a dispenser with a redstone signal, it drops the sulfur out of it. So now that we have the mechanics of the game figured out, let's make it look cool. For the bowling alley, I went with a stone brick and spruce log design, adding some shroom lights for the lighting, and for the trims around everything, I had gray concrete. I got done with the main bowling part and I was actually really proud of it. But then came the outside. Let's just say I didn't do my finest work. But if we're being honest, all bowling alleys look ugly on the outside. It's what's on the inside that counts. And on the inside, I added a couple extra details, but after that, I chose to use the resin sulfur for the pins and the bowling ball. Now all that's left is to see if it works. Here we go. We got our bowling ball right here. We have our bowling pins right there. We're about to see if my 3 hours of work has been put to good use. All right, 3, 2, 1, we're gonna hit Bobby. Unfortunately, it only kind of worked, but the next sport looks even better than I ever thought it would. So let's look at our penultimate sport for the video, which is 8-ball pool. This one actually turned out to be my second favorite build of the video besides the golf hole that I build next. I decided to start this one by making the tabletop part with the holes first. For the floor of it, I made it ice to promote as much sliding as possible, and I could put green carpet over it, giving it that nice pool table look. But I can't put carpet on the side of the ice for the inside of the holes. So to fix that, what I did is make a fully green map and place it in an item frame on the inside of the hole where the ice is. Then I made some cool pockets underneath each hole so that way it can catch the cubes as they fall in. I did this by using a mixture of different spruce block variations, and it turned out pretty nice in my opinion. After that, I made a whole spruce border around the green part of the table, and I added these little random dots, which nobody ever has any idea what they do, but they're on every pool table. Once that was done though, I covered the whole bottom of the table with stripped spruce logs. The final step for the table was to build the legs, and after I tested many designs, I actually settled on what I think is a pretty cool design. You can rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. Personally, I'm gonna say a solid 8.3. Now all that was left is to figure out which sulfurs to use for this build. I found something that really differentiated the stripes from the solids. For the solids, what I did is use just plain concrete. This is because you can differentiate every color very easily, and it's nice and vibrant so it looks cool. And for the stripes, I just gave it a little more texture, and I decided to go with glazed terracotta. Once again, very easy to differentiate from each one, and it's really the only other block that would have like stripe look to it. And just to improve this game even more, I gave all the sulfurs invisibility, making sure just their block is visible. Now all that's left to see is how well does this game work. Here we go. I'm gonna break it right here, right now. I'm gonna break it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh wow, okay, that's embarrassing.
6.5 hours later.
If I miss this shot, everyone on Earth dies. We just hit 3 a.m. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Go in. Go in. Oh, we did it. We did it. Let's go for the double. For the double. Okay, ignore that one. That might have been the greatest pool shot I've ever seen in my life. But now, for the moment that you have all been waiting for, it's time for my recreation of hole 7 at Pebble Beach. For a lot of you, I understand that probably means nothing, but there are a select few of you who will recognize that this is one of the most famous holes in golf. The biggest problem for this build was trying to find the correct sulfur to use, especially since I wanted a life-size recreation, and in case you didn't know, one Minecraft block is almost 1 meter long, and the hole is 90 meters long. With the hole being this long, my only option was the wood sulfur, since it is the only one that can make it that far. But this hole is also downhill, so if I hit the sulfur to the bottom, it'll just bounce all the way off. A way to stop this is by hitting the sulfur cube onto honey blocks, but I can't make the putting green out of honey because it doesn't move. So there was only one way that I could find to make this work, and it was by making the whole putting green out of ice with carpet over it, and everything else around the green would have to be honey blocks. I also decided to put a darker carpet over that just to differentiate the green from the honey blocks. Now you might be thinking, what if you hit it directly on the green? And to that I say, don't, because it'll just end up directly in the water. Sorry, I couldn't find a better solution to this. Anyway, all that was left after deciding how the game works is to make the whole thing just look absolutely amazing. And honestly, I'm just gonna skip over the process of me doing this because I'm sure you guys just want to get to the end of the video and see how it works. So, boom, there it is. Let's take a look at how beautiful this finished product is. As you can see, we got the nice downslope here made out of some green stuff. Then we got the side of the mountain right here made out of rocks and everything, plus going over into the water and everything. Also, we made the whole side dead over here just because why not? It looks cool. And for over here, we had it act like it was bleeding into a different hole, but it's actually not because I didn't feel like building the whole course out. But anyway, I love this build right here. And now let's see if we can make a par on here, which if you don't know, that just means let's see if we can get the ball in the hole in 3 shots. I need to make this ball into that hole down there in 3 shots. And if I don't, there's no punishment. I'm just doing this for fun. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Boom! Come on, end out good. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that right there. I'll take that stopped right on the fringe. Here we go. Let's roll up on our ball right here, and all we have to do is make it into that flag right there. Come on, give me a birdie right here, which is 1 under par. Let's see it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's just embarrassing right there. Okay, we still got a chance for par though. We just got to make it into that right there. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Yes. Okay, we got a great hit right there. Love the speed on it. Go in. Go in. Go in. Go in. Go in. No. Okay. All right, good. We're right there. It stopped right there. Okay, it's still going, but it's basically stopped. There we go. Now then, let's just kick this in and call it a day. 3, 2, 1, go. Go in. The world's slowest putt. Go in. Go. Yeah, let's go. We got was that a double or a triple? I lost count. Either way, it was good. It was good right there. Let's go. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, go follow me over on the Twitch if you wanted to see all these builds live. And also, go ahead and just subscribe, like the video, do all that stuff just because I don't really know. I don't have a reason. Just do it. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. We'll see ya. Little Stampy outro.